He was just a janitor at MIT. One day, while mopping the floor, he glanced at a math problem on the blackboard. He had no idea it was one of the most difficult advanced Fourier equations in the world. And yet, he solved it effortlessly. Equations like this are so complex that only a few people in the world can solve them. Some of them are Nobel Prize winners. So when the professor who posted the problem saw the correct solution, he rushed over and asked,
"Well, this is correct. Who did this? Jack?
Wasn't me.
Nimish? No way."
None of the top students in the class claimed credit. That's when the professor realized MIT had just uncovered a new genius. But no one could have guessed that this genius was a quiet janitor. The professor had made a promise. Anyone who solved the equation by the end of the semester would receive top academic credit and their name would be etched into MIT history, fame and glory, all in one. But it only took a day. Students from across campus came to see who had solved the problem. Yet the mysterious genius never showed up. So the professor issued a new challenge. He and a colleague designed another problem. This one had taken them over 2 years to solve. They wrote it on the blackboard in the hallway hoping the genius would see it. That night, while cleaning, Will saw the new equation, and once again, he started solving it. But this time, the professor caught him in the act. At first, he thought Will was just scribbling nonsense on the board. He stepped in, angry and ready to stop him. Will saw the professor and quickly ran off. The professor chased him around the corner but Will had vanished. When he turned back to the board, the professor saw something that left him speechless. The correct answer. Will had done it again. It was nothing short of a miracle. But Will's brilliance didn't stop there. He had a near photographic memory. No math problem was too hard. He'd barely gone to school, but his home was filled with books. Things others had to read 5 times to understand he could memorize after one glance. But for someone with such talent, Will wasn't making much of it outside of his janitor job. He spent his days messing around, getting into trouble. No goals, no plans, no future. After asking around, the professor finally tracked Will down. But by then, Will had already landed in court for assault. He didn't hire a lawyer, he didn't need one. He had memorized legal codes so well. He defended himself in court and left the opposing lawyer speechless. It was clear this wasn't Will's first time in front of a judge. The professor was amazed, his admiration written all over his face. But this time, Will wasn't getting off so easy. He was arrested, with a high bail he couldn't pay. That's when the professor stepped in. He wanted to help the young man and see what he was truly capable of. The judge agreed to let Will out on bail under 2 conditions. First, he had to meet weekly with the professor to study advanced mathematics. Second, he had to attend therapy sessions. Will hated the idea of seeing a therapist, but it beat staying in jail. And soon, he started showing the professor just how brilliant he really was. Any equation, no matter how complex, Will could solve in minutes, sometimes faster than the professor could follow. Proudly, the professor placed a hand on Will's shoulder. He saw a future in this young man, but Will was stubborn. He refused to let anyone get close to his mind or his heart. Every time he met with a therapist, he'd find their weak spots and use their own words against them. He pushed every single one to their limit. 5 therapists tried and failed. Nobody could break through. So the professor turned to his old college friend, Sean. Sean was once on the path to fame himself. He could have shared the spotlight with the professor, won awards, built a career, but something happened. He walked away from it all. Now he